Never surrender winnable games. Now that that's out of the way, what's going on, folks? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to a day in the life of the average Emma Frost. This is a pretty special one because I've not played any fucking ranked matches all season long, and I am super fucking rusty, so this is going to be a great time to start out with. We had some pretty questionable bans like this one. Why did dude pick Daredevil and then ban Daredevil? And this other one, they banned Thor?
The right heroes could make
It's a Thor over Groot, and they just said Awooga. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know what they had in mind when they placed those bans. Who's to question the mind of the average gold ranked player? But what I do know is I've seen people ban their teammates' chosen characters a million times now, but what I've never seen is someone ban their own pre-selected character, so that's a world first for me. Anyway, our match starts out looking like light work as we take out the solo Strange, who's just kind of running it down main by himself, and I very quickly realized that was kind of a false flag operation, because even though my team made sure to set themselves up with premium starter positions, following all the established guidelines, making sure to put at least 4 square miles in between each one of our teammates, making sure our DPS characters stayed at least 3 miles deep into enemy territory, standing at their spawn room and blaming healers whenever they inevitably went down, at least the rest of my team had the quick thinking and adaptive reflexes to scatter to the 4 corners of the globe the second that Cap and Spidey quickly infiltrated our home and started eating our porridge and breaking our chairs, because the last thing you want to do is stick together and fight as a team. What you really want to do is isolate yourself in a secluded small space with the enemy and make sure that you do not let your team know where you are and who is attacking you. Now, even though we did all die and get sent back to spawn so very quickly, and we lost control of that first point so very easily, I feel like I should remind you that I was fighting stick drift at that point, and actually I had a blindfold on as well, and my little cousin was also playing on my account at this point in the match. So with all the handicaps that I had given the enemy team to give them a fair fighting chance, it's really actually better that we let them get that bit of a head start, because otherwise the enemy team wouldn't have any chance at all. But now we've gotten serious and I've took the blindfold off at least, so now we're ready to move in and start actually doing some work. I've got the rest of the team at my back. I've got an Angela by my side who has already proven once she can kidnap someone and bring them back to the team to demolish altogether. Surely we won't go the rest of the match without seeing that little maneuver anymore, right? Starboy ulted, and would you look at that, my team knew exactly what to do. Half of them stood there and face tanked it, and the other half ran a mile away to go hide around the corner as far away from any tank that could protect them as possible. It's not as if there's a number of small rooms along the side of that hallway that you could tuck yourself away in and take cover, so what else were they supposed to do? Fight back? Now, as I'm strutting my stuff back from spawn, I'm watching my teammates drop like flies, and it occurs to me I must have forgotten the golden rule of convoy matches. You want to make sure the enemy team has as much space as possible to just keep that convoy moving, just trucking right along uninterrupted, because if you stop that vehicle, there's a not small chance that the map just might fucking explode. So if you look at it in that light, really we're winning. But unfortunately that second point is a wash, so the best thing you can do is just give up on that and send up a prayer to Dormammu that your team decides to regroup and actually start fighting like a team. Now, just a second ago, I finally managed to grab a fistful of America's ass, but unfortunately my team was a little bit slow on the uptake and didn't manage to capitalize on it before he went full Star-Spangled Rogers on us and sprinted away, leaving his trail of patriotic goop on the ground for his teammates to roll around in. So while he was running for the touchdown, I decided to try and use my Jedi mind tricks and snag the 2 healers, but their trash panda threw out his little ult beacon, and it ends up giving me a big goose egg's worth of value on my own ult. But what it did do was kick off the cascade of follow-up ults from every fucking body else in the match. You know how it goes. The gamer's natural instinct when they hear one person ult is to just say, you know what, I'll have what he's having, and pop that bitch too immediately, if not sooner. We've built up some momentum in this little clash of ults and managed to stop the vehicle for the first time this entire match for an impressive 2.2 seconds seconds up until the amazing Bagman comes in and blows his load all over the back line and gets sticky all over the back of my head. But you know what? It was a clean triple and I'm not even mad at it. I'm just fucking with you. I took that personal, and my rage secretly burns with the intensity of 1,000 suns, and I won't rest until he's face down in his gimp suit wearing all the signs of my vengeance for his entire team to witness. Anyway, I just realized what my problem has been this entire time. I forgot to take the blindfold off, but it's coming down to crunch time. They're halfway to the finish line, so we might need to have our come to Jesus moment soon. Cap, he just went running down in that little hidey hole with 1 HP, so we can safely ignore him for a couple seconds at least, so we can all collapse in and take out Magic Daddy while I'm busy choking him out. Now they can follow me to where the fight's at, right? Never mind. They were taking out Spider-Man too. That's okay. Understandable. Strange is already revived, so we're definitely going to need some support here, but at least nobody else is behind us except for maybe that low health Cap. That means our support should be coming along any moment now. I'm sure they're right behind me, right? What? Nope, never mind. They are not right behind me. Star-Lord's ulting right on top of my fucking head, and they're over there playing touch the fanny with Cap and his little burrow. It's alright. It's okay. Now they have pretty much used up all of their ults. They blew their whole load, so surely my team is going to jump up there on that cart and stop it from never mind, they didn't fucking stop the cart. They stayed a mile away. What was I thinking? You know what? That's on me. That's totally my bad. I was pushed way too far up. I was actually touching the cart and contesting, and you don't want to be that close to the enemies there. You don't want to put yourself right inside the fucking mega mix. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. You want to put a safe distance between you and the enemy team. That way there's not much risk to yourself. Ideally it should be somewhere near the maximum firing distance of most of your projectile heroes. Yeah, you don't want to be real close to that action. I mean, the spawn room door would have been a much better place to fight because you can't die there. There's no risk at all. So that's my bad. I take full responsibility. Now I have downloaded all of my teammates' tactics into my noodle here, and we are locked and loaded and ready to go. I've shaken all the rust and the cobwebs out, and I'm feeling a little bit more limber and loosey-goosey and ready to take the fight to them. But it's at this point that one of my lovely teammates initiates a surrender, and I'm not going to put them on blast and tell you which one it was. I'll just let you place your bets. Who do you think tried to surrender this match before the second round even started? Was it my partner Tank that decided to swap to a third DPS to give us a Namor? Was it our Blade who took forever to pick a character here? Was it one of our healers who has been kind of struggling this entire time? The only hint I can give you is that it was not me, because even though I am rusty as all hell and have been playing like something akin to lightly smoked ass, I am not bitch made, so I voted no, along with 3 other teammates of mine. Somebody else voted yes, I don't know who, but we won that vote. We are democratically prepared to take this fight straight to them and shove this card up their ass because it's our turn on offense, baby. Now, since one of my teammates did want to surrender, I was really concerned that most of the people would just abandon me and I would be leading the charge into battle all by my lonesome, but fortunately the kiddos decided to follow along, which is good because we got some killing to do. Now, the game plan here is to keep trying to strengthen my Dami Mommy beam by farming Strange's shield as I keep inching my way forward from corner to corner, and when I reach a new corner, I'd stake my flag and declare it my property and refuse to back away from it until my team catches up. Now, I don't know why that Jeff thought it was his job to try and break my shield, and I know Emma does love Jeff, but that was a bad Jeff and he needed to be punished for that. But I'm glad they volunteered to let me get those kills, because after whiffing that chokeslam on Strange a second ago, much thanks to my stick drift that I am still fighting, even though I know you probably thought I was kidding about that, I apparently have 2 different controllers with stick drift, and they've been fucking me in my face this entire match so far. So it was nice to get to redeem myself by getting a couple kills there and pushing our way on up into this point, so I can keep dominating this match and continuing in my efforts to forget about the fact that I am one of the pores. Moving on, we've capped the first point, and Magic Daddy decided to come up close and try to give me a good belly bump, so naturally I choked him the fuck out. But then he floated away from me, but that's okay, I got Namor right here. Never mind, he floated the fuck away too. What is going on with these Mary Poppins motherfuckers floating away from me before I can get the kill every single time? Wait, scratch that, they must have missed me. Both of them flew away to safety, only to drop back down and land right in front of my face, practically begging for me to kill him, which I do right before Free Willy knocks me on my ass, but that's alright. The Trash Panda throws his ult beacon out, but we all kind of collectively melt that shit, and I decide it's a great time to just solo ult the fuck out of one of their healers because, you know, why not? Just trust me, tactically, I had no other choice there. The enemy rocket has successfully trapped himself behind enemy lines, and just as I decide to ignore that to keep a firm grip on all this real estate, I see that someone has decided to go Emma in the hopes of dipping me out of my selected solo tank pick. But let me tell you, I may be more than a little rusty, but I think the quickest way to make me step up my game is to come at me with my very own dummy mommy like you're gonna make me look dumber than I already do myself. So naturally, I blast my dummy mommy beam as far up her ass as it'll fit before turning my attention on Sir Hopsalot, who has once again made an appearance just to hop circles around our cart, like his entire job is just to secure the perimeter 3 feet over our heads with a vortex of indecision and mild frustration. Now, I won't lie, I was big sad about the fact that as soon as I snatched up Spidey by his bag for the first time this entire match, somebody else killed him out of my arms before I got the satisfaction of smashing that bag into the floor. Left me with a severe case of blue balls, so I'm on the hunt for someone else to choke the fuck out at my soonest opportunity. Just as soon as the other Emma finished wasting her ult by blowing it straight into the middle of an invis ult, I turn my attention to her and yoink her soul out and force her into the corner. Blade comes in and just sideswipes the fuck out of her, so I get hard and try to choke out old Dig Butt 42069, but before I can finish the job, old Spidey comes in and blows his second load all over the back of my head. Really starting to piss me off. Someone needs to tell that motherfucker that just because I'm a blonde white girl wearing a flashy dress, I am not of the class that usually would make a prime Spidey target. Now, I just got back from spawn and I am thanking my lucky stars that my team didn't take that opportunity to stagger like hell, so everybody seems to be grouped up, but we can't quite make it back to our cart just yet. Blade is playing hide and seek in that little room there in the corner, looking like he's trying to plot out a sweet little ambush, and as I'm wondering what the hell is going on, I turn around to realize that Cap has successfully chased 3 of my teammates down a dark alleyway and managed to actually kill one of them, which is super unfortunate. And every single time I turn around, my team is getting further and further away. Somehow more people are retreating than they are staying with me, and yet they still manage to die to a solo diver every single time. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm the crazy one, but whenever I play support, my favorite thing to do if I have an anti-dive tank like Emma on the team, if someone jumps in on top of my fucking head, the first thing I'm doing is running up and grabbing her coattails saying, "Mommy, please help." Unfortunately, no one on my team seems to be aware of that particular strategy, and I believe they are allergic to the ping button. I did my very best to solo ult somebody else there, but despite my best efforts, I managed to catch like 1 plus 2 more halves, so I think my ult usage could use a little bit of work. But I yoinked the soul out of Invis right after, and we managed to push that card up to the second point before Sir Hopsalot came back in. We're trucking right along now. The door opens, and I'm excited to see the entire enemy team is waiting to greet us at the gates like the gracious hosts they are. Now, what you want to do when you're getting absolutely fucking melted like I was just there, slap that diamond form like it's a fucking panic button and just start punching the air in the hopes that you scare someone away. I used my keen predictive thinking to snatch up a fistful of America's ass the second he touched the ground in front of me, which doesn't get me the kill, but it does scare him enough to force him to panic ult himself before sprinting away at full speed, which is okay too. Emma tries to warp our minds with her thick thighs. Her domineering pillow talk. I throw out my shield to give us all something to play Ring Around the Rosie with until she tuckers herself out, and we clean up the riffraff and move on ahead. Now, I know that wasn't 6 enemies we just killed right there, so I'm moving ahead, hunting for where Bug Boy and the healers slipped away to. I don't know what Jeff was just planning right there. Maybe he was looking to charm us with his cute little teethy grin and pink outfit, but I can tell you, he waddled his happy little ass up to us 6v1 and got absolutely fucked up for it. So here I spotted spotted Bug Boy trying to swan dive in on top of somebody over there, and I don't know why they're that far away. I did consider going to try and help them, I swear I did, but that's all the way over there and the cart's all the way over here, so I decided respectfully, fuck that shit. If they die over there, that's their own fault. The best I could do is ping the problem and move on. So while they were off on a side quest, me and the rest of the team focused on completing the main storyline here, pushing this cart on up. I try to fuck up my doppelganger here, but the trash panda decides to throw out his ult beacon and save her ass once again. It's disappointing that it stopped me from getting the kill on my doppelganger, but I do like that I have a new generator to crank my Dommy Mommy beam up a notch. Just as I'm about to go finish off Emma, Spidey tries to reel in one of my teammates and accidentally reels in the wrong big fish. He displaces me for what he thinks is long enough to hop over and goop up my healers, but unfortunately for him, I got hard on him and dashed over and snatched him out the air, but he zips away too before I could get the kill. I see two more people running for the hills, and before they could make a clean getaway, I decided to pop my ult and catch about 1.2 people in that bitch, which somehow still ends up being, I think, my second best ult of the match so far. But now we're in the home stretch, which leaves us with just one final job of picking off all the stragglers who are going to wander in single file trying to stop the cart all by their lonesome, and as long as we don't let them survive long enough for a teammate to come in and back them up, we can crawl our way into home base, and bada bing bada boom, it's time for overtime. Now in times like this, you got to give your team a little bit of encouragement and some pats on the ass for a job well done. Also to make up for the fact that we have 1 minute on the time clock while the enemy team has 3, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. That just means we get to come back from a severe disadvantage, and everyone loves rooting for the underdog, so that win is going to taste so much sweeter if we can pull this shit off. Now they know we have very little time to work with, so they're trying their best to stop us in our tracks, but I'm using the same strategy I used the first time around. Step 1, move forward. Advance, goddammit. Step 2, pick a corner and make it your property. I'll put down my roots and absolutely refuse to relinquish that bitch. Just like Gandalf once said, this is my corner and you shall not fuck with me. Step 3, pick a prime target like Grandpa Mag's big slow ass. And use it like a portable generator to crank that Dommy beam up to 11. And then you profit by turning those powered up sights on whatever squishies he's got tucked away back there, basically crammed up inside his prison wallet, trying to keep them safe, and just start hoofing it until you find a new corner to plant your flag at, and then rinse and repeat as needed, keeping that Dommy beam cranked all the way up, or at least until you reach point and you run out of enemies to shoot at, except for the rocket, and you have tracking like I do, in which case you only hit a couple little piddlywinks of damage on his ass hairs as he's scurrying up the fucking walls, embracing the true raccoon mentality, in which case fuck it, shoot whatever moves. Now I'll admit, this has actually gone a lot better than even I expected it to, and at this point you can probably see the rust falling off of my aim, because stick drift or no, I've been putting in that work a little bit. It's not the best, and it sure ain't pretty, but it's getting the fucking job done, and that's really all that matters. Now, I do realize we're in overtime, and C9ing is a real risk at this point, but I got this mag on the ropes, and he's heading for the door, and I ain't about to let that shit happen, so the first thing I want to do is clear him out. The next thing I want to do is make that space my own. Just as soon as I can politely convince Spidey to quit pestering my backline and help get Captain Timesink out of the fucking way so the cart can keep trucking along. Okay, now it's time to go plant my flag and claim my domain by taking up as much of that long hallway as I can before the squatters move in. Now get ready for this curveball, because to clear out all the riffraff up here at my next corner, I'm about to unleash my first decent ult of the game. And by decent, I do mean not complete and total turbo cheeks mode activated, zero sum value, barely a solo ult level garbage I've been ripping every other time. Look at that. 3 whole people, 2 of them my own kills, and some bonus kickstart damage to make that reviving fish man instantly blow his bubble. Value. Now here comes Mr. Rogers trying to pump the brakes on our crusade, and that's the last thing you want to let happen, so I get hard and start hunting his star-spangled ass while he pops his ult just to run around playing decoy simulator. And by the time I manage to put hands on him, Free Willy comes flying in trying to fuck us in the face, but thank God for Sue Storm, because she shut that shit down and really clutched that ult counter for us, which lets us survive and take down Cap, only for him to get revived just as the incredible Bagman zips in to blow his 4th. MacLeod, I think, on the back of my head, and uppercut me back to spawn along with Cloak. That leaves us just Sue and Magic Daddy left guarding the cart as Wanda comes screeching through the door trying to erase what's left of our momentum. Once again though, Sue helps clutch that shit up, but not as much as Strange did by shutting down that shit with a perfectly timed Eye of Mama Coco, and immediately after avoiding the Jeff ult by hovering up without C9ing, which is impressive by itself, miraculously giving Dagger and I time to make that long walk of shame back to our team, which by the time we arrive consists entirely of Sue and Strange, and the rest of the enemy team is now coming back fully prepared and outnumbering us. But thankfully I spotted the Trash Panda through his revive beacon right there in the open, so as soon as Dagger throws her little puddle of Smurf piss on the ground, that's my first target. Then I try to snatch up the Trash Panda himself, but I caught a Wanda instead. I turn around and just start beating the dog shit out of whoever I see. I pushed Jeff and Namor into the corner and take their lunch money. The dynamic duo of Mr. Rogers and Bug Boy are still pestering the back line, so I trust my team to handle the cart while I go chase down and make sure the point staller can't stall us anymore until we reach our finish line. Then we just start blasting the air, tickling Bug Boy's tootsies, making him too afraid to touch ground anywhere near the cart. Now right after that door opens, Wanda gets a big-brained idea and decides she's going to try and stun us and then ult the whole team, thinking she's going to get a team wipe out of it, but Sue just kind of treats her like a nerd on the playground and just shoves her into the dirt, and we all tell her talk to the hand, and she doesn't really get shit out of that except for a free trip back to spawn. Now just a second ago I was salivating at the fact that I had Rocket perfectly cornered there, but I guess maybe my quick draw needs some work too, because by the time I popped it and dashed at him, somehow I just didn't trigger, it didn't grab him. I just kind of dashed over top of him. I don't know if it was maybe my lag or something and he dashed at the same time. I don't think his dash makes MCC immune, but somehow he dashed right out of my little fingies, and boy, let me tell you, it left me with another severe case of blue balls. I'll tell you, the number of times this star-spangled asshole has wasted our time just jumping over the heads of my entire team, just stalling the point out, is starting to get a little frustrating, and especially considering we can't kill him in a timely enough manner. My own Turbo Cheeks aim is certainly a contributing factor to that particular problem, but I'm not the only one on my team with that particular problem either. But I can also say that my lack of proper diamond form usage has also been a constant source of frustration for me as I'm watching this back in the replay now. I'm starting to realize that I was rusty with a lot more than just my aim, like just there. Yes, they did bust out the Squirrel Girl for this one, and that's a lot of spam damage for these chokes, but it was all on me for the fact that I went down because I tried to use diamond form instead of popping my ult from high ground like I probably should have done if I'd had more than 2 brain cells firing at that particular time. Just like I should have realized that both of our healers had actually already went down and we had no sustain. I should have been playing a lot more defensively, but that, kiddos, is why it's always important to look at your own replays and check out your own gameplay and judge yourself on your own mistakes before you go blaming your teammates, and make sure that you learn from those mistakes for the next go round. But we have pretty much lost our momentum at this point, and things are about to go from bad to worse because I noticed that one of our healers went down. I decided to pop my ult early and try to catch at least Spider-Man and delete him from the equation. Turned back around and I realized the other healer had already went down too. But the reason I didn't expect that to happen was because if you noticed, whenever I went down the last time, our cloak was at 75% ult and our invis had ult, and they were both just went down right before I went down. Somehow, in the time it took me to die and make it back to our team, our cloak had pushed her ult charge up another 25% and both healers had blown through their ults, and I was not aware of it. I figured we'd have at least one tucked away in the back pocket ready to use by the time a Squirrel Stampede came charging through, but that was not the case. We got utterly fucked up, but we made it all the way halfway to the final point in overtime, which started when we were capping the first point. So excellent job to the team. That was really a great push. I'm not going to fault anybody there on that because my ult usage was probably the worst out of the gang. At this stage, Sue has the MVP, which is well deserved because she has clutched up this game for us in multiple points. So we give our team some more pats on the ass and tell them, good job gang, now we just gotta hold out and lock down that fucking point and do not let anyone enter. We gotta play like we are fucking professional bouncers at an elite VIP club. And the enemy team is a bunch of bums and unwashed sweats and meat is murder t-shirts asking to come in and use the bathroom and the free Wi-Fi. In short, we gotta throw them out like Walter White with a pizza in his hands. defense. But our team has come a long way together since we were getting completely fucking dog-walked in our first round on defense, and I have faith that our crew can pump the brakes on these enemies' offensive push harder than my grandma if she was in the passenger seat of a driver's ed car. Now, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the enemy's spawn room chat right now, because in case you missed it, someone on our team wanted Cap to switch because they need more DPS. I don't know if that was sarcasm or what, but I think they kind of took it literally. At least here in a minute they did. For now though, we've got the expected opening salvo of a strange portal in the sky, just dropping enemies directly onto point at a generously manageable pace, with the bonus advantage of making sure none of them could retreat back through the portal to heal up in their spawn room. I mean, I would have been a lot more scuffed if they'd have placed that portal somewhere like, I don't know, maybe the little room up top or in front of one of the other rooms off to the side, cutting off one of our own escape routes, giving them another place to hide and set up defenses if they entered it from the flip side of the portal, or hell, even placing it at the back of the point on the ground would have likely been better than drip feeding us targets airdropped from right in the middle of the fucking open. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. Now, I've been getting a teensy bit less rusty by the second throughout this match, but one thing still fucks me all kinds of sideways, and that's trying to shoot that goddamned raccoon while he's skittering over these boxes and walls and everything else, because every surface on this map is covered in goop that further contributes to my beam hitbox's complete allergic refusal to make contact with that elusive motherfucker for anything more than just a solitary tiddlywink of damage ticked for every 7 seconds of continuous Scooby-Doo levels of chasing. My raccoon-related struggles aside, we've all made short work of their first attempt to kick down our door, and I don't think we've even lost a single person in this first minute off the time clock. If the enemy team had any shreds of cohesive teamwork left in them bones, they are rapidly falling apart, even more as the sands continue to drop from their proverbial hourglass. We all know a cornered rat will get desperate, so we're about to enter the throw shit at the wall stage of their offensive as they just continue searching for anything that fucking sticks. I killed Squirrel Girl, and just for her to get revived 2 seconds later and try sending in the rodent rampage, but it was not very effective, not like it was the first time at least, when we couldn't move off the point and she made a last minute swap to the furry lady. But this time we were ready for that bitch, and we melted them fucking squirrels just like we've done to the rest of her teammates, because we're basically just playing whack-a-mole right now, and every time one of these people pokes their fucking head into this point, they just get slapped back to the fucking spawn room to go try again. Now watch this triple here. The stars kind of aligned for me to just get a single tap on both of these people, and I ended up getting the kill on both of them. Now some of you might think, oh, that raccoon was just standing completely still, he must have just given up completely, but no, I like to think that he was just feeling bad about the number of times I've chased his little ass all over the map, just trimming the hairs off his ass crack and doing no damage, so he was just giving me a bit of a freebie, and that was mighty generous of him, so shout out to you, Rocket, wherever you are. It's also worth noting that our Star-Lord started out in this match getting diffed pretty fucking heavily by the other team's Star-Lord, but at this point in the match, he's the one popping off and doing a bit of dipping, and it just warms my cold dead heart to see that shit. Now I go to check in here for any sneaky bitches looking to creep up on us, but Blade locks Namor inside a fucking cage match, and I figure he's got that under control. Now would you looky here. Just when I was trying to sniff out some troublemaker to solo ult the pants off of, the second most annoying Peter in the game takes to the sky just to hollering his wee little lungs out, and his ult line might as well have been, "Pick me, mommy," because he just practically sent up a signal flare with a distress beacon attached, and I was right there, yellow button freshly shimmering, ready to drag that poor son of a bitch right out of the sky and pack his bags for a short journey back to the Milano, which at this point is probably less crashed out than he is, before he could even get the satisfaction of peppering even one of my supports like he did in that first round. So I take no small amount of satisfaction in knowing that the last thing he gets to see this entire round are these meaty, blinged out hams staring him straight in his desperate, terrified face while his uncoordinated teammates are lumbering away too far in the background to stop what's about to happen. So anyway, I killed Star-Lord. Now it's just a matter of shutting down that last-ditch Hail Mary push into point. Only 10 seconds left on the clock, but I've seen crazier comebacks, so we can't let off the gas just yet. I almost didn't even look back for that Spider-Boy ult, but I figured even if there was 5 people behind me to handle it, there was a not insignificant chance that he just blew that load all over my healers. So I figured it was worth taking my eyes off the desperate gang sprinting up main like they're trying to stop their lover from boarding the plane to take a quick glance and help chase the spider away. Rocket makes a Hail Mary throw to try and get his ult beacon into the end zone, which, to give him credit, was a valiant effort, but sadly his sacrifice was in vain. We intercepted that pass, and the rest of his team simply couldn't find an opening to get even one tootsie over the line to make that first down. And bada bing, bada boom. There you have it, folks. What a comeback that was, am I right? It's not like this was the first time I've had an unexpected comeback in this game, but it was certainly a shining example considering how hard we were getting our asses pounded in the first round compared to the absolute humbling we handed them in the last. And it was the first time I've felt compelled to put this much effort into making a video about it. I fully realize this is probably way too long a video and it's not top tier pro level gaming, but it took my slow, time starved, confused old ass way too long to make this heap of shining shit, so I'm not cutting anything else out of it. I hope all 6 of you that watch this thoroughly enjoy it, because I'll probably not spend near as much time editing anything else in the future. Through all this yapping, my point is simply this: stop surrendering winnable games. The amount of times I've gotten my ass whipped in the first round due to simple mistakes or bad hero matchups, only to have one or more teammates surrender, admit defeat, leave the match, or just check the fuck out and stop trying, and spend the rest of the match either AFK in a corner or running it down 6v1. Starting to get more than a little fucking aggravating. I don't get near as much time to play games as I'd like, so it pisses me off to spend a substantial chunk of my precious time taking an L because some whiny bitch-made chump wants to throw in the towel and rain on everyone's parade because they have a weaker mental than my 8-year-old kid. If that's the kind of wimpy weenie activities you partake in, then go play in the traffic at Times Square and leave the competitive matches to the people trying to compete. That's all for now. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you dislike it, leave one of those too and tell me in great detail how I suck in the comments so I can make sure to save you a fuck when I come across some more. I'm just kidding, don't do that. I'm very sensitive. Only nice comments allowed. And be sure to subscribe no matter how you feel. It's free and it warms my cynical old soul each and every time because a small elite group of people who are willing to listen to my rambling nonsense gained a new member. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there and I'll catch you later. Peace.